Two 7-3 teams, one Conference USA crown on the line. Missouri State riding a 5-game win streak. Kennesaw State defending the nest at Fifth Third Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm your host, Nathan Johnson, alongside Brad Hopkins. It's time to break the huddle. Brad, who wants it more, the Bears or the Owls? This one's got late season fireworks written all over it. And Brad, we've talked about both of these teams off camera throughout the season, and we thought, okay, maybe they start to gain some ground, maybe they fall off. No, these two teams have stayed consistent. They're both 7-3 now, and now they're fighting for a chance in the Conference USA. It's been a great season for both of these teams. My first question to you, Brad, is both of these teams have been climbing the Conference USA ladder all season. When you see 7-3 versus 7-3 mid-November, what's the biggest difference maker heading into a game like this?
I think what jumps out to me, and we've seen this all over the country, and it's this is talked about so much, is are you playing your best football at the right time? This is, sometimes it is about being the best team, but sometimes it's just about peaking at the right time. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot of teams all over the country do this, and I'm gonna tell you, Nate, Missouri State and Kennesaw State are both playing pretty well right now. And I want to make a quick point. I know you mentioned both these teams fighting for the Conference USA crown. Missouri State transitioning to FBS in the first year, they're not eligible for postseason play right now. So,
which is ridiculous. I just don't understand that rule at all.
And we're going to put this plug in here at Break the Huddle. The NCAA needs to grant Missouri State a waiver to first of all be eligible for a Conference USA title chance and bowl eligibility. It's not right that these guys are penalized because they're making a transition. This team, these seniors, this coaching staff, this program, they deserve to go to a bowl game. So Missouri State fans, if you're listening, comment on here that this waiver needs to be granted for them. They've had too good of a season for them to be penalized for sitting at home just because of a stupid transition rule. But anyway, once again, to answer your question, it's about playing your best ball in November, in December. I'm really excited to watch this one. Kennesaw State's an hour away from us. They've got a great program, and what a job Missouri State and their coaching staff has done making the transition. It's not easy to do, and they've got a 7-3 record. Man, hats off to both these programs. They've done fantastic.
I'm almost considering going to this game.
Yeah,
this is a great game, and there's some great teams playing on Saturday, but man, this is a great opportunity to get cheap tickets to what could be the crown for the Conference USA, and that's what we're going to talk about. What's at stake? Both teams tied atop the Conference USA. The winner controls their path to the conference title. Both of these teams, it would be massive to win that Conference USA title for two schools like this. Momentum check though. Missouri State, 5 straight wins, including statement victories over Liberty and UTEP. Not easy competition to go against. UTEP has struggled this year, but they have a program. They're a program that's consistently won football games over the last several years. They put up a fight against UTSA before they transitioned to the American Conference. Liberty, we know what they're capable of in any given year. But Kennesaw State, on the other hand, for a momentum check, coming off of a tough 35-26 loss to a Jacksonville State team who's very, very good as well, but still undefeated at home this season. Home field advantage could play a role in this one. I know it's not Sanford Stadium. I know it's not, Happy Valley at night with the whiteout, but listen, it's a smaller stadium. The fans will come out for this one. They're going to love this one. Brad, my question to you is momentum versus home field advantage. Which one wins out in November football?
Look, I think Kennesaw State is going to be very, very motivated on Saturday. You mentioned both these teams, trying to get the Conference USA championship. Obviously, at the time, Missouri State's not eligible for that, but I think Kennesaw State's very motivated because they want another crack at Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's, leading the conference standings right now. So Missouri State's playing well, but making a little bit of a trip. Kennesaw State coming off a loss, I think they're going to be really, really hungry to try to get a second chance for redemption against Jacksonville State.
I agree. And I think that's a good segue to our segment on Missouri State breakdown, starting with the offense. Quarterback Jacob Clark, over 2,200 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, and completing 65% of his passes this year. He's played really, really well. Mm-hmm. When you get a quarterback like that, I think he has 0 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. mistaken. The comments can correct me on that, but man, what a season either way. Running back Shomari Lawrence, right? Very physical, dynamic running back, 707 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns. Wide receiver Jmariyae Robinson, he's their go-to guy, 438 yards receiving on the year, 4 touchdowns. And then another guy who's questionable for this game, wide receiver Lyndon Rivari. He is a difference maker as well. He's been out for a while. Could be big in this matchup against Kennesaw State. Something to keep an eye on. Right now, the team averages 375 yards per game on offense and 24 points per game as well. Not the greatest. You're going to have to put up some more points in this one. Defensively, though, Jalen Brooks, the leading team tackler, 60 tackles on the year, 17 total sacks for this team, and 8 interceptions. That's pretty good. Defensively, solid against the run. They're only giving up 142 yards per game this season on the run. So you got to like your chances there in the run defense. Key stat, though, for Missouri State, +3 in the turnover margin, ranked 40th. That's very, very good for a lower caliber team like Missouri State, who's just bumped up to the FBS level this year. Brad, Clark's been efficient, but can the Bears keep that clean pocket against the Kennesaw State front with 25 sacks on the year?
Yeah, look, I mean, 25 sacks, not sure where that ranks nationally, but that's nothing
crazy.
That's nothing to scoff at. I mean, that's solid numbers. I mean, look, when you were reading those stats, something that jumped out to me is 24 points game. They move the ball, but not quite finishing. And against the Kennesaw State offense, that they can score, and so Missouri State's going to have to find some ways to put a few more points on the board, I think.
Yeah, and the two guys on the other side of the ball, starting with Kennesaw State's offense, they play a dual quarterback system, which can be controversy in college football, any level really. Right. High school maybe works a little bit better, right? But in the college football, it doesn't pan out the same usually. Amari Odom, starting quarterback for the Owls, 1,500 yards passing, 8 touchdowns. And you look at Dexter Williams, 787 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. So I mean, it's pretty dead even. They combine for just over 2,200 yards passing. So I wonder how that plays out in this game. I'm not really sure as a coach if I would want that. Curious to see what the Kennesaw State fans think of that as well. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, well, something else I was going to say, if I'm not mistaken, and Kennesaw State is in their first year with a new head coach in Jerry Mack, who's once again, he came from the Jacksonville Jaguars as the running backs coach, and he has not been a head coach in about, I want to say 7 or 8 years. So he's done a tremendous job, but their offensive coordinator comes from Tennessee. So, you factor in that in kind of that, widespread, passing attack to do a 2 quarterback system, man. They're having some success, obviously with a 7-3 record, but interested to see how that plays out.
Absolutely. Then you look at their wide receiver core, as you mentioned. Wide receiver Gabriel Bernard, 668 yards receiving, 5 touchdowns, averaging 15.5 yards per catch. That's pretty dang good. Running back Coleman Bennett, a bell cow for the Owls offense, 515 yards, 2 touchdowns. So they obviously favor the passing game. I think the quarterbacks have a say in that as well. They put up some yards. 398 yards per game offensively, 26 points per game offensively. Both of these teams, they really don't score a lot of offense. It's very defensively.
And I think it shows, they're both, Missouri State, about 375, Kennesaw there at 398. They're moving the ball. I wouldn't say they're finishing when they get on the other side of 50. So that's going to be a big storyline, I feel like.
Yeah. How good is their red zone efficiency, and can they capitalize and finish with touchdowns instead of field goals? Because that's what it's sounding like so far. Defensively for the Kennesaw State Owls, Barron Hobson, their leading tackler, 96 tackles. I think Rooster makes a very good point on this. When you've got your leading tackler with 80 plus tackles on the season, not good, because that means your defense is out there a lot.
That's fair.
Elijah Hill, 6.5 sacks, really good numbers for him up front, and then 25 sacks as a team, allowing 22.5 points per game, ranked top 50 in the nation. So they've got a good defense. It just sounds like they're out there a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that could, it could also mean that they're playing a lot of let's bend but don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, the points per game, that's a that's a solid number. I mean, giving up 22 points a game, that's tough to do in modern college.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
give credit where credit's due.
Absolutely. I mean, there's some definitely some positives. Nate, I think something else we're just to keep in mind, Kennesaw State is a program that they haven't been in FBS that long.
No, they haven't.
Once again, really, really impressed by both these teams that they have just really, really made a quick ascension. Missouri State, first year in FBS, already 7-3. Kennesaw State has not been in FBS that long and breaking into first year head coach, and they're in the Conference USA title hunt. Man, both these programs are on the rise for sure.
Well, one thing I hope with Missouri State doing well this year, and James Madison as well, some of these other schools that have amped up their programs. Sam Houston hasn't done that great this year, but I almost wonder when teams like North Dakota State, South Dakota State, when are they going to step up? And I don't want to get into it right now, but interested in moving forward to see how that plays out of it. Is there more money at FBS, or are they okay with staying at the FCS with the powerhouse?
That's a great question.
Scholarships, stuff like that. I'd love to bring someone on that has some more expertise in that department. So, anyways, not to pull away from this game. Concern for Kennesaw State, and this kind of answers what I was saying earlier about their defense being out on the field a lot. -5 turnover margin and 68.7 penalty yards per game, ranked 128 out of 136 teams, Brad. You just can't have it.
And you bring up a good point. We've seen that Kennesaw State averaging almost 400 a game. They're moving the ball, but it seems like a costly turnover penalty is keeping that points per game number down and is forcing the defense in some tough situations. So if they're going to have a chance to win Saturday, they've got to cut down on the mental mistakes, got to cut down on the turnovers as well.
Yeah, and Brad, that's a good question for you. If Kennesaw keeps beating themselves in the foot with turnovers and penalties, can that defense bail them out again? I mean, this is a tough Missouri State offense. Absolutely.
Once again, not an offense that puts up a whole lot of yards. But Nate, I think we've seen, you brought up a good point, efficient quarterback play, that an efficient rushing attack. That's what Missouri State wants.
Very disciplined.
They want to grind it out. They want to maybe not get explosives, but just be efficient, drive you down the field, wear you down, and get you worn out in the second half.
Absolutely. And they don't make mistakes like Kennesaw State has. And that's big. Discipline wins football games. See it time and time again. It can be at the Ohio State, Georgia level. It can be all the way down at the FCS level. Yeah. Discipline wins football games. Who has the better discipline in this one? Keys to victory for the fans out there, Brad. Missouri State, you got to protect Clark.
Yeah.
You got to keep him clean in the pocket, especially on the road. And you got to win time of possession. They're averaging 31 minutes per game right now. That's really good. And then stay efficient on third down. Yeah. If they can complete third down, they're going to be in a good spot. Again, one of those things that we see a lot in college football, third down conversions struggle. Last Friday night game that we covered with Louisville and Clemson, neither team had a third down conversion for like 2 quarters. Right. So that's going to be a big part in this. And then for Kennesaw State, key to victory, got to limit penalties. Can't say it enough. Got to play disciplined football. You got to create some turnovers, man, and unleash Odom's legs to keep drives alive. He's big in the run game. If he gets some open space and they're playing man coverage and those corners backs are turned, you got to be confident, take off running, take what the defense gives you, live another down. And I think that brings us to our picks, Brad. Kennesaw State currently favored in this one by 6.5 points, but Missouri State has been battle tested this year, and they're playing very efficient football right now in mid-November. Home game for Kennesaw State, ESPN Plus at 2 p.m. Who comes out on top in this Conference USA matchup?
Nate, I'm going to take the Owls in this one. I'm going to give a prediction of 24-14.
Low scoring.
I think it's a defensive battle, and I think both these teams will move the ball. I just think they're going to struggle to be efficient on the other side of the 50. I just think ultimately, you're going to see a really, really motivated Kennesaw State team that they want another crack at Jacksonville State. They want to get in the Conference USA Championship game. Give me the Owls in this one. I think it's a defensive showdown. I think a couple of sacks and maybe a costly Missouri State turnover is the difference in this one.
Well, call me crazy, but And just to mention, Clark does have 8 interceptions on the year, so he doesn't have 0.
He has been a little erratic with the ball.
He's a gunslinger. He likes to sling the ball, so he's got 2,200 yards passing. That's going to happen, especially at that level. Yeah. What surprised me is the over under 57.5 points. So they're saying that each team's going to score 25 plus points. Yeah. With Kennesaw being a 6.5 point favorite, so they're expecting them to score probably 35 points. Yeah. So interesting to see how that one plays out. I'm going to take the Kennesaw State Owls as well and give me a bigger score prediction. I'm going to go 31-21. Okay. I think both offenses start to gain some momentum. It's going to be nice football weather, 73 degrees, overcast, perfect football weather for both of these teams. Can't get any better. Give me the Kennesaw State Owls and a 10-point win. I think they cover the spread. Drop your score predictions down below. Hit that subscribe button to help us to reach 1,000 subs. We really appreciate all the support. We're so close to getting there. And be sure to check us out Friday night, Break The Huddle After Dark, where we will be giving live in-game commentary and analysis for the Hawaii versus UNLV game, 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Going to be a late kick. Going to be a fun one, though. Be sure to check us out then. We'll see you next Friday. It's time to break the huddle.